Sandown Raceway as we into the final couple of hours of Saturday here. What a day it's been as the Kumho Super 3 cars leave the grid. Richard Craill alongside me, Matt Nolte, with the dark clouds circling. We had a shower of rain during the Australian GT Endurance Championship race a few moments ago, but much drier conditions than what we had for race number 2 earlier today.
Yeah, everyone looking skyward in the paddock, Matt, as that brief little rain shower came over about 15 minutes ago, and there's a bit of paranoia about wet weather in this paddock after what went on earlier today, but it's all good. The track might be a little bit greasy offline, but nice and dry, slick Kumho control tyres on the 17 cars that will roll around to take the starter for race 2. Key race in the context of the championship. 25 points now, the margin between leader Brock Feeney and second place Jaden Ojeda. What race 1 earlier today did was bring Hamish Ribberets, who won it, back even closer to the 2 leaders, now 55 points behind. And as a result, he starts from pole position. Josh Fife, I reckon he was a lap away from getting the lead in that race. Great. It was shortened in the end in wet conditions, so watch out for the BJR Commodore.
Brock Feeney will start out of position number 3 here today alongside Zach Best. The Juice starts out of position number 5. Jaden Ojeda. Nick Carroll squares off on row 3. Matt McLean back in the field in the Iveco Trucks entry. Car number 12 starts out of 7. McCorkindale back, hoping for a better result than what he had at Tailem Bend a few weeks ago, starts out of 8. Stephen Page and Dean Lilly, great drives from those guys earlier today, getting 9th and 10th, especially for Dean Lilly, living the dream here today aboard that number 15 car.
So there's some big storylines to pull out of this. Over the page, we'll see Joel Heinrich and Bradley Neal, who's in contention for the Kumho Cup, the Pro-Am class. Jim Policina looking for back-to-back titles in that, in the Mocom car. Matty Stewart for BJR goes from 14th. Jason Gomersall, Jason Foley and Tony Ordino in the Crusher Parts International. Brilliantly named BF Falcon from the back of the grid.
It's your nickname.
Yeah, Crusher?
Yeah.
It's not. Brock Feeney leads the championship. The last time he won a race, Matt Nolte, race 1 of the championship back at the Phillip Island Grand Prix circuit, which seems like an eternity ago. He's got just the 1 race win this year. Consistency has been key, and in the last 4 rounds, the first 4 rounds, he's gone third, second. That's why he's got a 25-point championship lead. Consistency wins titles, and the driver of the 67 car has been key to that all season long. But man, the rivals are stacking up around him.
Yeah, it's great. And we saw earlier today Josh Fife scoring Holden's best result of the year as well with that 2nd place. He's been the lone man to score top 3 results in this year's Kumho Super 3 Series. It kicked off at Phillip Island Grand Prix circuit back in April, and after today we'll be down to 1 race. Getting set for a start, Ribberets on the right-hand side, Josh Fife on the left-hand side, Brock Feeney and Zach Best on that 2nd row. 12 laps around Sandown, and we're underway for race 2. A whole heap of smoke from the front. He bags him up. Brock Feeney's gone nowhere. He's going backwards at a rapid rate in car number 69. Look at Jaden Ojeda down the inside. He's going to go to 3rd position, but for the first time this year, a Holden leads into turn number 1.
Yeah, massive moment in the context of the championship. Feeney's 6th at the moment, could be 7th. As they rattle into turn 2, it will be, because John McCorkindale sweeps around the outside. Brilliant start, Josh Fife. Ribberet's got wheel spin, sat there and went nowhere and dropped a bunch of spots. So busy in the mid-pack, but Fife leads the way for the first time for Brad Jones Racing. Zach Best up to 2nd. Ribberet's the race 1 winner to 3rd. No, Jada, crucially, 2 spots in front of his closest championship rival. And I spoke to the Anderson Motorsport team before this race. They have got car pace. They're confident they've got a race car that can win, that can lead the race. Hamish with a big brake lock up at Dandenong Road. That'll cost him some momentum on the run up to 11 and 12.
Nick Carroll did the same just behind in car number 48. Policina had a spin at the back of the field there in car number 7 at turn 3. In the opening stanza, there's Matt McLean, the blue and white Iveco Trucks entry. Behind them is Brad Neal, Steve Page and Joel Heinrich as Josh Fife leads his very first lap in the Super 3 Series. At the end of lap number 1, we settle into a groove. Best is up to 2nd, Ribberet's 3rd, and here comes Jaden Ojeda in 4th.
Interesting to see if there's any damage on that Kumho that Ribberet's locked big time on the run down into Dandenong Road. It's the unloaded side of the car, so it's easy to grab that left-hand side tyre under braking. Hope for his sake it's okay. Runner-up in Formula Ford last year. Talented youngster, has done a super job this year to keep himself in championship calculations. Really good first lap, Josh Fife. The first 3 rounds of the championship this year, Nolts, his starts were appalling, and he probably owned that, but absolutely nailed it both races today. One in the wet, one in the dry. He's launched that car well.
Tony Ordino, the big mover at the back of the field right now. He's up to 13th position, so he was the big benefactor of that lap 1 skirmish at turn 2 and 3. White Motorsport cars running back there in third at the moment. There's McLean. So many cars have been locking up coming down to Dandenong Road here. On the first and second laps, there's Steve Page and the Page Brothers RV number 2 is back to the leaders coming out the final turn. It's 5 best. They're starting to put a margin on Hamish Riberitz now. It's got Jaden Ojeda for company back in 4th spot. Then it's Brock Feeney trying to turn around that terrible start in the exit timeshare now. Paul Morris Motorsport, car 67. This is lap 3.
And on the first flying lap, they've absolutely torched the lap record. 10-1 for Feeney in 5th place last time round. The top 5 cars all well underneath the existing benchmark, which was set back in 2016. There's been a lot of evolution, both of the racetrack and the race cars since then. There's huge pace at the moment. They'll only get faster as they build more and more tyre temperature. So 5 by 0.7, Riberitz going with him. Then a gap back to, well, it's Zach Best actually in second, isn't it? Riberitz next, and he's under pretty serious pressure from the juice, Jaden Ojeda at the Anderson Motorsport Falcon.
What a season it's been. 3 round victories in succession. Joins a whole list of names that have done that in the Super 3 history dating back to 2008. Out of Dandenong Road corner we go. That dark cloud just above. It's like a blanket across the top of Sandown Raceway. We've had everything here today on day number 2. We started off with windy conditions. It was warm. Then the change of conditions came. Then it got cold. Then it dumped some rain down. The sun then came out. Going to keep going? Now it's cloudy again.
I'm going to visit the chiropractor on Monday to get my neck checked out for looking skyward so often. Fife now with the new lap record and just extends the margin a little bit. So the BJR cars got speed. Last Holden victory, it was Jack Smith in a Brad Jones Racing Commodore early last season. So it's been a long time between drinks for the General. In slim pickings across the supercar landscape for them this season. They were a big weekend last weekend in New Zealand. Let's see if Josh Fife can grab his first win. He's been building to this. Straight out of go-karts, no prior racing experience before jumping into a Super 3 car at the start of the season. Hugely successful in go-karting. Young man out of Canberra, he's talent. And he's just been working with Andy Jones, especially at BJR, to build confidence, build speed, get all the 1%ers. He got the qualifying stuff right quite early on, working on the starts all throughout the season, and it's built and built to this moment where he's leading his first race.
8 cars under the lap record early in this race. 1 minute 10.07, the quickest for Josh Fife. Here's Brock Feeney, the 16-year-old from Carrara on the Gold Coast, on the back of Jaden Ojeda, who stepped into the car that Michael Anderson drove for the past couple of seasons in a move that's really stepped this category up this year. It was about the heritage of this sport for so many years, and now it's about the next breed of Super 2 drivers this season. It's been awesome since the first race at Phillip Island.
Riberitz with a lot of curb at turn 1, got a very good run through there and a little bit of extra momentum to close in to his teammate Zach Best. So he's got good speed. It's the attitude on car number 5. Just noticed him coming out of turn 1 last time. Big slide out over that exit curb. Pretty tail-happy race car at the moment, and he's just driven away a little bit from Jaden Ojeda. So he's caught Zach Best, who is now very much in the just go and win races mode. He's still 4th in the championship, starting to slip out of mathematical contention now with a couple of races to go. The curb on the inside there on the run to Dandenong Road, just slightly covering his line. He just wants to win races at the moment. He's got to cover off one of his key championship rivals. Hamish goes down the inside. That's a good pass. Will he clear him? No, he won't. Best holds on the inside. That typical Sandown over-under. The big winner out of this could be the juice, Jaden Ojeda. Terrific run. They'll be 2 by 2 on the run down the front stretch.
How cool is this? In the rows of 2, the Matt White Motorsport teammates in single file, but it's going to be Jaden Ojeda who'll be the big winner out of this. Picks them all off. They'll stay side by side. Someone had to give. It was Best. He was fed off onto the curb. He drops to the back of this conga line.
How's the racing? Brilliant stuff through turn 1. They got out of that with any contact. Terrific stuff, but Ojeda's just got a bunch of spots through all of that. Brilliant. Zach Best goes from 2nd and finds himself in 5th place. Ojeda the reverse. He's charged his way up to P2. And once again, the championship picture changes, as it's done so often throughout the course of the season.
So the 20-year-old moves up into 2nd position now, while Josh Fife has the lap record here at Sandown, leads his first race and on target to win his first one today. It's been a long time coming for a Holden in the past couple of years, but what a debut season it's been for Fife. The margin, 2.7 seconds. As we come around with 6 laps remaining of this 12-lap encounter. Race 2 of the Kumo Super 3 Series, with one race to come tomorrow here at the Shannons Nationals.
But Fife went from having 0.7 in front to 2.7 seconds in the space of a couple of corners, while these four were all squabbling over second, third, fourth and fifth. Fife just put his head down and drove away. Really smart stuff, and he's now got a great margin over Ojeda, who's moved himself to second. And remember, Fife isn't in the championship picture, but he'll take points away from them. So Ojeda now has got 6 laps to see if he can get to the back of car number 14. And you can bet that if he does, it will become a very, very wide Commodore for as long as he can hold on.
Margin's good so far. Brock Feeney's the fastest car on this lap. He's the second car in shot, the green, white and black number 67 car that we've seen in the hands of Anton Di Pasquale a couple of years ago in Super 3 competition. Anton's here. Whoa, got on the inside of the curb, and that's brought some water back onto the racing line at a critical part of the circuit then from 2 cars. They've won the fastest points on the circuit, so they need to be careful across the curbs. You see Nick Carroll and McCorkindale in the background of that shot. So Jada and Feeney come around to complete another lap. The gap sits at 2.2 seconds. Brock Feeney looks like he's going to set the fastest lap of the race here. Maybe take the lap record. It's purple wherever you like. Oh, it is, and wow. We're in the 109s. Can you believe this? 109.80, fastest lap in history for Super 3, and it's Brock Feeney with still plenty of time on his side.
Put you on the grid for the supercar race here. That's a very, very good lap time. Shows you the intensity at the front of the field. The gap maintained pretty consistent at 2.2 seconds. Just been crushing the numbers on the old abacus, Matt, from a championship point of view. If they finish the way they are, 18 points, the margin down from 25 going into the decider tomorrow afternoon. They'll have to wait nearly 24 hours. So they'll be sitting on this and stewing over it and overthinking it. And Zach Best's, well, what's been an otherwise dominant season, he's won more times than anyone, is just coming undone and off the road and dropping down the order, and that will rule him out of contention.
2 race 3 DNFs this year have really cost him what could have been the series. This year he finished runner-up to Tyler Everingham last year, who moved on into Super 2. As they come around to complete another lap here, let's head to pit lane with Aaron Noonan.
Matt, you talked before about the heritage of this series. It began in 2008 as a place for the former supercars and development series cars to continue their lives, but now these cars are bringing young drivers into the game and putting them on the platform to launch their way towards the main game. Just bear in mind that car that leads the way for Brad Jones Racing. There's a few showers. It's starting to rain here in the pit lane. I was going to start to talk to you about Josh Fife's car that's leading the race. That's the car that Jason Richards drove in that memorable Grand Prix race at Albert Park when he fought with Garth Tander when he was unbelievably ill, and he finished P2. Just watching a bit of a slip off the road there with John McCorkindale down at turn 1. But great history with all these cars. They're writing their own history in this Super 3 series, but standing here in the lane, it's starting to rain. This just adds another curveball to it, doesn't it, boys?
And it's tripping up some cars down at turn number 1. Yet what a special car this 14 is, no doubt about that. And now he's starting to be reeled in. There's windscreen wipers on a couple of these cars right now. The conditions are darker out there. There's some weather in the sky. Well, Fife locks up.
But Feeney got Ojeda. More critically for the championship, Feeney got in front of Jaden Ojeda. Did Fife get out the other side? Yep, he did. The margin's still 1.9. So there was a change while we were hearing from Noons about the great car history in this series, and it's a very salient point. Great commemorations about JR in the most recent couple of weeks in the motorsport world. We always remember. And now Ojeda in real strife, because Hamish Ribberts goes down the inside at 1. There'll be a change of position here. He's gone from 2nd to 4th. And they're all grip limited and sliding around in dicey conditions with 3 laps to go. The championship picture just changes again.
Skating across the top of the curb there at turn 2. This is where Zach Best went off on the previous lap. He's down the 8th position ahead of Joel Heinrich and Brad Neal. He leads the Kumo Cup standing to this race. So Ribberts in 3rd, Ojeda 4th. Down the back straight. The gap has come down by half a second between Fife and Brock Feeney. 2 laps to go at the end of this.
It's just the lightest of rain showers, but it's enough just to change the grip level, Matt. And they'll be driving with tippy toes and fingertips to feel out where the grip and the traction is. And Jason Gomersall has been caught out by that in the ISEG Racing Matt Stone Racing Prepared Falcon. Runs the same livery as Todd Hazelwood supercar, and he's back down in 17th place. Brilliant job in qualifying, actually, from JG, who was second in Kumo Cup. Ribberts struggling with power down, and that's going to open the door for Jaden. So these two will go at it again. It just looked like he was a little bit not confident, Ojeda, last lap, and that's what allowed him to be passed, but he'll get that spot back now and breaks into turn 1.
Side by side like magnets. Oh, the leaders are off at turn number 1. It stays the same, only just, but now puts Feeney back in the hands of Ojeda. Critical moment in the race with 2 laps to go.
Sandown, what a place.
Yes.
Never disappoints. There's so many variables, the weather, the circuit, the bumps, the curbs. It's an extraordinary place. Where's Ojeda gone? Where's the championship contender? He's disappeared, Jaden Ojeda.
It's at the back, maybe through 2 and 3. There he is. So he's come back out in front of Nick Carroll. He's dropped down to 4th.
Well, such was the margin they had over the rest of the field. He's had a moment somewhere and has still rejoined in front of the number 48 car from Matt White Motorsport. But he's given up that spot to Hamish Ribberitz.
Oh boy. Down to turn number 9. A lap and a bit remaining. And just like we've seen in Michelin GT3 Cup Challenge, every race has been a screamer so far. In Kumo Super 3 competition in 2019. It'll be 1 lap to go. 5. On target here now, Steve Page goes off. And that looks like turn 2 and 3 in the tyre wall. It is. We start the final lap. Will this be the breakthrough for Holden to stop the domination? We've got another car stopped on the outside, and that's Matty Stewart in the second of the Brad Jones racing cars. And now Ribberitz skates off between turn 2 and 3.
There's no grip. It's just rained enough that they're all struggling to get the thing stopped and turned. And it's those little errors that just put so much risk into your motor race. But Hamish Ribberitz came out the other side that time around. This series, seriously.
Have you had fun?
Oh, man, what a championship. It's not done yet. It's not done yet. There's still a longer race to go tomorrow. And remember, the Sunday race pays more points. 60 for a win, 40 for this race. And Ribberitz, despite having it off, isn't done with Brock Feeney yet. But out in front, it's a big moment. This young man from Canberra has driven superbly, arguably the fastest in the wet earlier today and finished second. He's been looking for his first race win. It comes his way after a dramatic day at Sandown, and Josh Fife will become the first Holden winner of the season and wins his first race in Kumo Super 3. And Brad Jones racing on top. Good to see Macca Jones watching on from pit lane. Andy Jones is down there as well. What a terrific day and what a great performance. But another championship-changing outcome for Kumo Super 3. Oh, Bradley Neal in the fence.
After such a strong showing, and that is big damage to the front of that SBR Falcon. That's down at turn 2 and 3. Probably the slipperiest part of the circuit has caught out plenty, but Josh Fife puts himself in the record books and ends the drought for Holden in the Kumo Super 3 Series, taking out the win here by 2 seconds. Feeney second, Ribberitz in third. Let's go to pit lane.
Matt, I jumped into the garages here with Brad Jones. Any day that Brad Jones Racing has a win's a good day, and it's been a little while between drinks in Super 3, but Josh did a really nice job in tricky conditions.
Wow, fantastic job, and as you said, it was wet and dry, and it's been a crazy day for the Super 3 guys here all day, really. Every time they seem to get out on the track, there's a bit of rain and it's a little bit dry, so great result for the team.
This series this year becoming the official 3rd tier of supercars racing, called Super 3 as it is. It's serving a great purpose for not just young drivers, but young engineers and mechanics and people who want to go somewhere in the supercar industry.
100%, and that's what it's all about. If you look at the depth of talent, we've got a lot of the karters starting to come through, and it's a great introduction to what we call supercar racing, right? So it's fantastic, and it's great, and it's certainly great to be here today to celebrate Josh's win.
Great stuff. We'll see you tomorrow. Another race to go.
Can't wait.
Sounds good.
Thanks.
There he is, Brad Jones.
Nicely done.
Good chat.
A man of few words.
He's a cracker.
There's Bradley confirming your results. Fife breaking through for his first victory. Brock Feeney second. Hamish Ribberitz in third position. Then a nearly 11 seconds back to Jaden Ojeda. Go back to Nick Carroll. Matt McLean inside the top 10 on his return after missing a couple of rounds this year. McCorkindale 7th. Joel Heinrich inside the top 10. Tony Ordino drove from 17th up to 11th. It was Policina, Foley, Gomersall who had a big crash on the final lap. And one race and the hardest 24 hours ahead for these young guys battling it out for the Super 3 crown. Let's look at the highlights of race number 2 here today. Whole heap of wheel spin for Ribberitz. A terrible start for he and for Brock Feeney here.
Yeah, Brilliant launch for Fife, though. Just perfect start and led the field cleanly into turn 1. Early days, Zach Best second. Big lock up from Ribberets. He got away with that a couple of times, in fact. Run a little bit wide there, and that opened the door for the Juice to make some passes. So at this point, Brock Feeney finished second. He was 5th. He was right down at the back of the field. And then this happened down the inside. Penultimate corner, Ribberets on Best. They went wheel to wheel, and that allowed Jaden Ojeda to get in. This is up there with the best lap of racing we've seen of the season so far.
Look at him.
2x2. Noah's Ark down at turn 1. The rain would come a little bit later, and Ojeda got 3 and 1 there. Brilliant bit of racing.
That was very cool. Just across the top. Watch the water being scooped out onto the track.
Wow.
From inside the curb. That was early in the race and didn't really show any problems for the rest of the field there, but it could have been wild as this move from Ribberets down to turn number 1. Windscreen wiper ablaze aboard that number 11. Ribberets got the job done down there in turn number 1. But the leader would have a moment down here. Same 2 for second position.
And the other 2 didn't have time to fall off the road because they were too busy squabbling over 3rd place. This is the Jason Gomersal spin we saw, and he did end up in the tyres. See the amount of water it dislodged from that very heavy rain shower we saw earlier today. And then on the final lap of the race, barreling down and bouncing over the grass at 2 and 3 was Hamish Ribberets. Josh Fife wins, puts him in the top 5 of the championship too, by the way. Bumps Nick Carroll out of that. And unofficially, championship margin, 30 points to favour of Brock Feeney. Ojeda in second. Ribberets still in mathematical calculations, 56 points off the lead.